Guys, it's Jasper, and today I'm going to be talking about the books I picked up at BEA. So last week I was in New York at Book Expo America, a huge trade show all about books and authors and publishers and editors and everything to do with books, the making of them, the publishing, the buying, all of that jazz. It's all about books and it is quite fantastic. Now, I'm also going to be making a video all about my experience at BEA, which should be coming out not next week, but the week after, probably, hopefully. But today, what I'm going to talk about is the books that I was able to pick up at BEA. Now, if you don't know anything about BEA, the one thing you may have heard is that you get free books, and this is true. I did try to be very careful with the books that I decided to pick up. I want to be fair both to the authors and the publishers who are giving out these books to make sure that they're books that I am interested in reading, books that are somewhat in my genre for writing or tutoring or whatever it is I plan on using the books for. So, without further ado, these are the books that I was able to pick up at BEA and I am excited about. Finally, I have 4 more books I picked up at BEA, and I thought that with the presentation of these books, I'd like to say a little bit about them, because these are books I'm very excited to read. The first of my most anticipated books that I picked up at BEA is Zora and Me, The Cursed Ground. Now, this is a fictionalized retelling of Zora Neale Hurston's childhood adventures, and this book I was particularly interested in because one, the publishing house, which is Candlewick Press, is one who I've been a very big fan of their children's literature, and as someone who has written a few children's books and hopes to one day publish them, and also as someone who tutors a lot of young students, I'm always looking for engaging children's books and children's novels. So I was really intrigued by this one because one, I love Zora Neale Hurston's literature. It's beautiful and heartbreaking. But I was also curious to see how somebody would take this author's life and her childhood and transition it into a children's book. I think in this book is a great opportunity to introduce children to an amazing woman, create a connection for them to want to read Zora Neale Hurston as they develop and they become a mature reader. The next book I am super excited about is Sheets. Isn't this adorable? This is a graphic novel about a girl who feels really pretty lost and like nobody sees her, and a ghost who gets sort of bored in the ghost world and is like, I think I'm gonna hang out with some humans. And so the two of them meet and they create a friendship together, and it looks adorable and beautiful, and like I'm just gonna like peek, like look at all these pages, pastel pinks and purples. It's very sweet. I'm excited. Apparently it's a bit of a tearjerker, but also just adorbs. So very excited for this guy. My next most anticipated read is Louisiana's Way Home by Kate DiCamillo. Now this book I was so excited to get because when I went to Candlewick Press's booth, I was just kind of admiring, they had a poster with this girl's face on it, and I was like, oh, this is such a gorgeous illustration, and I looked at it and then I gasped because I was like, oh, because I saw Kate DiCamillo's name, and I had no idea that she was coming out with a new book, and I love Kate DiCamillo. And so when I gasped, obviously this got the attention of the three ladies who were standing at the booth, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just love Kate DiCamillo so much. And then one of the women looked at me and said, how much do you love Kate DiCamillo? And I was like, what is this? This is a little weird. And I was like, I don't know, like I love her so much. And I started just like gushing about how Tale of Despereaux was like this book I found when I was a kid, and I thought it was like a lost treasure book, and it just boosted my reading adventurous life. It was gushing kind of like right now. Anyway, so she goes away, and the other lady is like, you just said the magic words. I was like, what is happening? And they came back and they gave me this book. So I was very excited. I felt very special. Who knows, maybe they do that for everyone who just like touches that poster. But I like to think it was very special. So I'm very excited about this book. And lastly, my most anticipated read is by an author I had no idea about until I went to BEA. And that's probably for good reason, because this is her debut novel. Before this novel, she was working as a literary agent, and the book is The Sisters of the Winter Wood. Now this book immediately captured my attention, one, because like how gorgeous is this cover? Ooh la la. And secondly, the name captured my attention, The Sisters of the Winter Wood. I thought, if this book isn't about fairies or mythology or folklore, like I'll eat my hat. You know that old saying where people said they'd eat something, some article of clothing? This is what I would do, because I was like, this has to be something mythic. It has to be something like folklore. And I was right. I happened to be going by the booth when the author was doing signings of the book, and so I was able to get a signed copy, and I was so excited about this because this was one of the galley drops I was really hoping to get. But happenstance had it, I walked by as the author was doing signings of the book, so I picked it up on my way to seeing a session about why fairy tales and mythology are important. And who happened to be on that panel? But our gorgeous, lovely author here. So I'm sitting there and I had started reading it, and then up on stage, Rena Rossiner comes up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So I had already started reading the book, and then I met her again, listened to the amazing panel, and so far this book, I mean, is my favorite because I've already started into it. I couldn't help myself. It is incredibly engaging. If you are a fan of myth or folk tale or fairy tale, my brain's dying. If you are a fan of fairy tales, myth, or folklore, you need to check out this book. This book is an ARC, and so it's not available until September of 2018. But I mean, that's like, enjoy your summer. Get your TBR in order, and then find this book because I'm excited about it. I have nothing but praise, and I'm only like a few chapters in. So that completes my BEA haul. I hope you enjoyed seeing the titles I was able to grab. If you have any questions about them, comment down below. If you have any thoughts on the books, or you just want to like talk about whatever, comment down below. Cheers, and I got some reading to do. I got a little reading to do. Bye.